What up, friends? We are back here at oddschecker.com/US. US Open week continues, and we've got a US Open gift, a Father's Day gift, whatever you want to call it here from the family at Oddschecker. You can win a free $500. Click the link in the comments in the description, playactionpools.com. All you've got to do is roster between 1 and 10 golfers, stay under the salary cap. You accumulate points through how much money they earn this week at the US Open. Very much like the DFS games you're familiar with playing. You got to get the guys in under the salary cap, but instead of, birdie points, bogey losing points, the point totals are accumulated through their earnings this week at the US Open. Free $500 from the family here at Oddschecker. So let's get in on that action and let's waste no more time, Joe. We'll break it down. It's the US Open. We got props. You're hot as usual. Let's keep it going. Bat lead off. Start me off.
All right. I'm going to start with matchups because we've been actually really good at these. You hit both of them last week. I hit one as well. I like Cameron Young. I actually love him to win this thing this week, which is part of the reason I'm taking him in a matchup against Mito Pereira. I think Young is more apt to play well at this type of golf course. The total driving numbers are outstanding. He's long, he's straight, he's familiar with Northeast golf. He's played well at Riviera, he played well at Wells Fargo, he played well at Potomac, he played well at the PGA Championship. He was right up there for a first round leader at Memorial. The kid's just awesome, and he fits the mold of a US Open prototype player to a T. Young player, great upside, -110 over at DraftKings. Basically an even money matchup on Young over Mito. Who you got, buddy?
For me, well, it's a Cameron, but I am picking on one, much like I did last week. And I hate to have to say anything negative about the Aussie Cam Smith, who can get up and down from anywhere. But for me, Joe, it's now reached an opportunity where I can search for, find Patrick Cantley, Xander Schauffele, 110, pick them over Cam Smith. I think driver of paramount importance this year. Cam Smith is at his best where, fairways are wider, but also when he has to maximize, get absolutely everything out of his driver, that's where I think he can find the most trouble. Afraid of the magic beans, I'm stepping in front of him, but I'm looking for Cam Smith fades this week, and Patrick Cantley's the one I have found, and I'm hunting for a Xander one, I tell you.
Love it, man. Yeah, picking on, we like to try and search for a guy with a little bit of a flaw in their game. They're matched up against other good players, so I can't fault you there one bit.
Yeah, and it's the flaw that I think could be the X factor for the
Totally.
For the week. And Cantley's got his own flaws, Joe, but the US Open, he doesn't seem to have the bugaboo that seems to follow him at the other majors. At least he's making the cut at this one here.
Yeah, without a doubt. So my next pick, Geoff, I'm going to go back to the T40 market a little bit here. I'm going to take Justin Rose, who I saw some signs out of last week of a little bit of glimpse. I saw it at the PGA Championship. I knew when I was going to say Justin Rose, it wasn't going to fire you up too much. But listen, US Open type player. He's a grinder. I think that there was positive signs, like I mentioned at the Canadian Open. He's plus 135 over on PointsBet on the Oddschecker grid to finish in the top 40. For, just to give a reference point, he's minus 135 over at DraftKings. So a 60-point swing there. I'm going to take those plus odds on Rose. He won obviously a US Open over at Marion, which I think a lot of people are pulling a lot of comps for this course. Of course, that was many years ago, but it may be a nice last stand run here on the PGA Tour for Justin Rose. And I'm going to take the plus money for him to finish in the top 40 this week.
Yeah, long-time viewers of mine know it's at the point where I'm kind of forced to live a gimmick that I don't truly believe. And I think it's if Rose is in the fairway, the way those irons were firing, it wasn't like to 12 feet, Joe. These things were like beside the pin.
Yeah.
7 feet was like a long putt for Rose through most of his final round. Now, I know this ain't Canada, but I will throw in, for all that's going on in the golf world, it was like really nice to see a guy like Rose, for where he stands with a lot of his sort of contemporaries making other decisions, see him flirting with that 59. And I think it'd be great for the tour if some of those players can maybe find some magic on the competitive side of golf events. So yeah, Pro Rose, nothing bad to say. I'm going with a guy that'll profile, in my opinion, well for a U.S. Open and maybe could flirt with a win if it plays off script, where guys farther hitting it shorter can have a chance. But it's Abe Answer. It's the T40 market as well. I'm getting plus 120. It comes in as low as minus 115 when using that grid. But Answer, we're starting to consistently gaining strokes off the tee, which then allows him to play into his strengths. He does just enough around the greens to make you think he can hang around and keep himself competitive. So I'm really into Abe Answer this week. I'll be playing that T40.
Yeah, nothing bad to say about that as well. I do think that like of any U.S. Open, there is going to be more of an element that is accuracy driven, right? There's still power is going to dominate, but you've got to, especially with the graduated rough, playing from the fairways is going to be of more importance here than I think we saw at Winged Foot and at Torrey Pines in previous iterations.
I think if it does play off the U.S. Open prototype that we've seen, I mean, just look at the past winners. We could name them, but just the best golf drivers of the golf ball in the world. If it plays off that, think Abe Answer. Very, very live. I'll finish us up here. I'll skip you on the line here. Joe, to sort of piggyback your thoughts that Justin Rose could do something nice. I think this sort of setup here can work well for Adam Scott, a winning score that I'm certainly not expecting him to win. But if it is that premium of having capable distance, well accurate off the tee to allow you a fighting chance to compete at this thing, I think it speaks to Adam Scott, who's, huge in the outright market, not there. Looked at the top 40 market, wasn't there either. I landed on top Australian, and I guess that piggybacks some of my Cameron Smith opinions. Yeah. They kind of bleed into the other. Maybe if I love Cameron Smith, I wouldn't be looking to invest in someone else in that market. But just the steadiness of Scott, just being Adam Scott can just be Adam Scott. I think we can be totally fine in this market. Plus 450 for me, seeing it as low as plus 350. So that's my investment in Scotty this week, maybe before he makes a big jump somewhere else. I mean, not in up the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think we caught on there. I'm going to go back to the top 20 market here and take Sam Burns. I still feel like somehow this guy is undervalued in terms of almost all betting markets. The kid is freaking phenomenal, Geoff. In the last 13 months, 4 wins, 2 seconds. What more do you want from the guy? I mentioned earlier that the U.S. Open tends to reward a certain type of player. And if there was a cookie cutter mold for the type of guy, maybe Rahm's a little bit bigger, but they all sort of fit into the same mold when you're putting in that player of DJ, Brooks, Woodland, Rahm, big, strong, powerful, athletic. The new version of that is Sam Burns on the PGA Tour. He's a great putter. He's number 1 in approach over the last 24 rounds, and you're getting plus 140 on DraftKings on a T20 on Sam Burns, which I really like. He's basically even money or minus money on a lot of the other sites. Plus 140 I think is a great market. I think he has a great chance to win this week. He's on the precipice. He still needs that big time victory, but you look at what he just did at the Charles Schwab, where he sort of slayed Scotty Scheffler with a great final round there in the playoff. He almost did it again last week in Canada, where he stormed and posted an early number and got himself into a playoff. Playing great. Love his form. Love how he sets up, particularly for any U.S. Open type setup. Burns top 20 plus 140. That's my last pick of the week.
So I love Burns. I always talk about just a natural born winner, Joe. Like, I don't care if it is some muck, off season, football season, whatever we call it, event. If it's the U.S. Open, -4, -24, like he just exudes a winner. And if he did match up against, you mentioned it, a Scheffler, a JT, a Rahm, a Rory in a playoff or down the stretch, he wouldn't bat an eye. Like, he would feel like I belong right beside these guys. I swam around it. I didn't bet it. So we'll close it. If you've seen my outright card already in oddschecker, I've made my moves. They're closer to the top, Joe. And I have bet Xander Schauffele and at 28-1 on a Bet365 boost. And I've bet Patrick Cantlay at 27-1. And if you look at me right now, like I look at like a live player, like trying to talk about making that decision. And I know many people have strong emotions about Xander and about Cantley, and strong opinions. And I respect your opinions. And I'm grateful for the PGA Tour for all the great betting options that they have given me. But this is just the pick that I've made. I honestly don't even want to talk about it anymore. And I know that's not what Odds Checker's asking me to do, Joe. And if you noticed, I tried to like paraphrase some of Phil Mickelson's press conference, and like I feel like this dirtiness about the picks, but I am making them. I'm making them. And I'm not betting winners like Burns and Morikawa and Spieth, who are literally swimming right beside me. But thanks for sticking with me, friends. I'll give you the final thought, Joe, on all that.
You're too good, man. That's why you're the best. Bringing in that whole reference there. I hope you guys caught along with that. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to this week. I've gone Burns. I've gone Cam Young. I'm still going to fish for one more big dog, I think, at the top because I have room. I'm feeling a little inflated off of a Rory ticket last week.
But you hit the exact, what do you call that in horse racing? The exacta or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
had one of those. I had the T2 Tony, but I couldn't not be happy for everything Rory did in Canada. I saw stat, Joe. Tony Finau would have won 94 of the last 100 PGA of 94 out of 100 PGA events with his gaining 18 plus strokes tee to green last week. But he was outdone by Rory God mode.
Yeah, Rory, total God mode. And I like to say I kind of called the shot with that one, and it just felt like it had to be Rory last week, and it was. I've got him parlayed with a Warriors to win the finals ticket. So
let's go.
I'm sitting pretty there. I think I'm between JT and Scheffler at the top. Rahm, I just don't bet Rahm, so I'm not going to do that. So it's between JT and Scheffler. I feel like I already cashed in enough Rory dollars, so I'm not going to quite go back there. And I still, got a little pending. That's where I'm at. Looking forward to this week. Thanks again. Hope we can continue to stay hot on these props.
That's it. U.S. Open this week. No rest for Joe and I because it ain't a major. We're going to be right back here doing it again for the Travelers next week. Okay. No rest. No, I'm not asking for sympathy either. Trust me. And let's remind you, win a free 500 from the family here at Odds Checker. Check the link below. Enter the pool, the play action pools. Pick up to 10 golfers. Stay under the salary cap. You win the earnings they make this weekend. Free 500 for Father's Day, for U.S. Open, whatever you need. We got you. We'll be back next week at Odds Checker. Like, sub, all that fun stuff. Support. We out.